are now tuned into the Spartanite. My name is Nadia Arain. I am an occult specialist that uses spiritual intelligence to empower entrepreneurs for massive profit and impact in all areas of their life. I am also an award-winning author, award-winning mentor, clairsentient psychic, and as most of you know me, I am founder of the Spartanite. So today's video, I'm going to be covering barriers versus opportunities and how to spot opportunities in your life. Now, there are a lot of people in the world that do want to be successful. They do want a better life for themselves. They're not happy with what they see with their life. They're disgruntled, they're miserable, they feel like failures, so on and so forth. But what I find really interesting is that people, or maybe human beings, band into one of two categories. Number one, they choose to see barriers, or they choose to see opportunities. Now, barriers traditionally come from lack consciousness, stuck consciousness, poverty consciousness. As an occult wealth mentor, I do talk a lot about the lack consciousness mindset and how one can really remove themselves out of it and enrich themselves with wealth consciousness. Now, in Cantonese, if there are any people from that part of the world, or if you speak Mandarin or I suppose Cantonese as well, there are interesting symbols, and I write this on my blog. You can find it, and I'll put the link below for the blog as well. It's basically opportunity or crisis. Now, in Cantonese, there are symbols, and when you put these two symbols together, they are pronounced as weje, basically. So what it's trying to say is that where there is an opportunity, there is also a crisis, and where there is a crisis, there is also an opportunity. Most people will only focus on the negative things in life. They will only focus on the things they can't do, they won't do, they're too lazy to do, instead of asking themselves, what's the end goal for it? You see, most people think that the answer to prosperity is unaffordable, so they don't even try. They just think, I can't. Most people, or maybe even some of you watching this, who obviously are trying to remove that mindset, it will be more to do with the fact of I can't afford it, or you know, it's out of my budget. So instead of saying how can I afford it, or what do I need to do, or what sort of jigsaw puzzle do I need to jig around in order to bring this money in. Now, money is the major vantage point that I usually talk about as a Spartanite, and even in all of my products and services and our global brand. But remember, money cannot come to somebody that sees barriers. There was a lady that came to me for a consultation, and she said to me, you know, I want to live a more spiritual life, but I'm tired of working my job. And I'm sure some of you, maybe a lot of you, can relate to this. Tired of working my job, and I don't really want to work a job, and I'm fed up of paying bills, and I have my daughter's education. So all she could see was the barriers, right? And then she said to me, I want to have a life like Oprah Winfrey. And I laughed and I said to her, Oprah Winfrey didn't just wake up one morning and she was around people who loved her, who cared for her, who cherished her, who valued her, appreciated her. Oprah had to fight through a lot of lack programming, go back into her story. Obviously, I suppose Oprah Winfrey or Miss Winfrey was her role model, but I generally say that to people, that if you are at a point in your life where you're thinking X, Y, Z is not working out, you need to ask yourself, what barriers am I looking at? Years before I started Spartanite, the first thing that my spiritual court taught me is you have to have a winning mindset. You don't have to look at barriers. You have to look at the opportunity. You look at something, and most people, say for instance, there is an event, and the entry fee is £1,000 or $1,000, whichever, pick your poisons or currency. They will look at that 1,000, but they won't look at the 50,000 value, because in their mind they can only see cost. People who see barriers in life only see cost to things. They cannot see the value of something. And if something is cheap, it's not valuable. I don't care however people try and dress it up. Cheap in your mind, when you look at something, you're going to be like, you know what, it doesn't really have that much value. So this person obviously doesn't value themselves. Why should I value them? Remember, you're always teaching people how to treat you, which is the premise. When I mentor people, when I really have consultations with people, I try and make that very clear to them. So in life, there's only one of two ways. When there is a crisis and people are panicking and they're all over the place, You have to ask yourself, these people are looking at barriers of something. What's the opportunity? How can I make more money from this? How can I be of better service? Because when you shift your mind to opportunity thinking, and when you shift your mind into a place of, well, actually, I can be of service, and this is the opportunity, and I need to jump on it. Because remember, opportunities, as contrary as it may sound, it doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't. It's very quiet. Most people miss opportunities because they think a big massive cloud is going to pop out of the sky, and that's really not how opportunities work at all. Your mind has to be very laser focused and saying, okay, this is what I need to do from this. So most people will ask me for business strategies, they'll ask me for sales strategies, but that's not the case at all. You need to have satisfaction strategies in life. So hopefully this quick nugget has helped you understand that you don't have to be looking at I can't do this, or it doesn't happen, or so on and so forth, and this what it is. Go and create your own opportunities. We live in a very, very rich, wealthy, successful, abundant world, and there's no reason that you need to scrimp or sort of run around like roaches and rats trying to pick up nibbles of cheese when you can have the whole platter. You don't have to go and beg at the buffet, is what I say. And you really have to focus on what's the opportunity. Can I be successful in what I choose to do based on the opportunities? A lot of people that come to me from sort of spiritual perspectives, and they say to me, oh, well, there's no real money in spirituality, or so on and so forth. I know that's a lie, because I live an abundant spiritually life, and I'm also, financially secure, safe, wealthy, and part of my job also is to show people that it's a very real way of living. So I really hope that's helped, and hopefully in other subsequent videos I will be covering what's the best way to spot opportunity in life. But right now you always have to remember, and the takeaway from this video, the major takeaway I would say, is when you're faced with an issue, remember, we don't have problems in life, we have perspectives of them. Like, subscribe, share. There's more goodies coming up to this channel, and I really hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day ahead.